What was your first exposure to the Brydges Centre, and how was that sparked for you?
Yeah, so my first exposure to the Brydges Center was from a Bible study that was being hosted by Gretchen Stevenson, who obviously has a huge love for the Brydges Center. But in that women's Bible study, she just started telling us about some prep for her trip that was coming up. She had prayer requests. And so it kind of just planted a seed of what is this place that she's going to, of, this place she's been to like 5 or 6 times, and just has a huge heart for. And so when she came back from that trip, she obviously had tons of pictures and videos to show our group, and it really just hit home with me. I just felt the Lord was moving in my heart when I connected all of these pieces of hearing her talk about the Brydges Center, talking about these children and this place that she loves to serve, and then seeing pictures and videos of these kids. They really stole my heart from that moment, and it planted a seed that I was like, I think I want to go visit there. And that was probably in April, May timeframe that I heard about that. And so I took the summer to think about it, to think about going to the Brydges Center. And then that August, I just knew that that's what the Lord wanted me to do that next spring. So, but yeah, it was just through a Bible study and hearing Gretchen talk about it and how her heart is just so dedicated to those children. And it really hit home with me.
Imagine yourself back in the plane, and you're descending, and you're coming into Jomo Kenyatta Airport. What was going on in your mind and in your heart? Maybe even as you could see out the window if you were there, but just as you were coming into Kenya.
Yeah, so I had a lot of things going on in my mind. It was the first time I had traveled out of the country, so it was a really big trip for me. A lot of time in an airplane, brand new place, and so there was a lot that I was processing, taking in. But I really went into that trip with my heart wide open to what the Lord wanted to do through me, what He wanted to teach me. And so, well, I did some research about Kenya. I did minimal because I wanted to walk into that trip without any preconceived ideas about what it was going to be like there outside of what I needed to know to prep for the trip. But I just wanted to be there and step foot in Kenya and have it be a brand new experience for me. So processing all of that on the plane ride was a lot. I was super excited. I was nervous. But I just was really resting in the Lord and knowing that He had this in store for me and He's going to have something great planned. And then when we actually got off the plane and stepped foot in Kenya, I was like, I mean, it was nighttime, so there wasn't a lot to see, but it was just immediately like a brand new place, a whole other world that was nothing like Minnesota. And from that moment on, it was just taking in all of the sights and the sounds and the smells of this brand new place, this culture, this beautiful people. And it was a lot to take in at first, but again, I was just walking into it with a heart wide open for what the Lord wanted to show me on that trip.
Tell the story of going through the gate the first time at the children's home now, and what that experience was like for you, and what impacted you as you set foot now
Mhm.
at the center.
So, when we got to Kenya, we had about a day and a half before we actually went out to the Brydges Center, and which was much appreciated. We got to rest up and kind of get our feet under us. But I was really excited just to get out to the Brydges Center. I was excited to get out and see those kids for the first time. And so we were all on a bus. Our group was we all rode together out to the center. And when we pull up, the first thing you see is the walls around the Brydges Centre with the Brydges Centre on the side of it. And from when I saw that, my heart just started getting excited. And then when the bus pulled up to the gates, when we stopped, you could hear music playing. And it was the kids' marching band playing that you could hear from outside the walls of the center. And I was just so anxious and excited to get there because I just wanted to see those kids and give those kids hugs for the first time. And so it was very, it was so exciting. I think it was one of the most exciting moments I've had because it was this whole build up to going to see these kids that I've been thinking about, I've been praying about, and then for that first time, I get to give them a hug, I get to shake their hands, hear their voices, and see their eyes. And so it was really emotional when I first walked in. It just there's all these kids there greeting you, ready, and they're so excited to see you. And it was the most genuine welcome I think I've ever had in my life. And it was really moving. It brought me to tears, and it was just very surreal being there for the first time.
What impacted you the most at that moment that really just really had that emotional response? And
Yeah, I think one, it the Brydges Centre, when you walk through the gates, is really beautiful compared to its surroundings. And so I think that's one of the immediate things that hits you is just this is such a beautiful place that these children get to stay in and get to live their lives compared to where they've come from outside of the gates. And then I think just seeing those children like there that they were anticipating us coming. They were so excited and honored to have us there. Even though I was there to serve them, I feel like they were like wanting to serve me and like honor me. And it was a very overwhelming feeling to have a marching band play for you when you walk in and to have I think at that time there was maybe 40 kids there um that were there greeting us, and to just see them and to know I didn't know their specific stories, but just to know that that is their home, that's where they live, and I just entered into their home was a very I don't know, it was a very emotional I, experience, I guess. And yeah, I guess I don't have all the words for it, but it was just very overwhelming to actually be there in person and to see it and hear their voices and see their greeting. Um, it was really, really special.
so you got to spend time with Rosemary, and of
Mhm.
course there was a lot of activity going on whenever that was the case. What stood out to you about Rosemary, who she is, um, who she was around the kids, around your team? Oh,
Mhm.
what stood out to you about her?
I think one of the first things that stood out to me was her constant praise of the Lord. Anything you said to her, any compliment, any praise about the center, anything that you would say, she would respond with glory to God. And that was one of the things that really has stuck with me even to today of her constant praise and acknowledgement that everything that has happened is a work of the Lord through her. It's not her alone. And so just that acknowledgement of what the Lord is doing there is something that has really stuck out to me because someone that doesn't love the Lord as much could take a lot of credit for what has happened there, but she so purely acknowledges that it is the Lord's work and she just happens to be a steward of all of the blessings that he has given her and those kids. So that was one thing. Another thing was her leadership. I think it was really obvious just within different groups and different settings of seeing how the children love and respect her, how the staff love and respect her and see her as a leader. And then when we got to go and experience the Maasai community of seeing how she is really just she is a leader. She's someone that's been gifted with that ability, and how she just that was really, really amazing to me, and to learn about her pursuit of education and of knowledge and of always growing. I mean, she was, I think, still completing a leadership degree, and she just turned 70 years old. And that's just amazing to me that she's still pursuing growing and getting better, and just using the gifts that the Lord has given her. And in a country like Kenya, where women don't have the best odds, to see how the Lord has used her and how she has turned those blessings around to give those to other people is something that I admire so much about her, and I'm just amazed by what she's done. And then in partnership with the Brydges, which has really helped to expand what their reach and how they've been able to help the children of Kenya, it's a really an amazing partnership that I got to experience a glimpse of.
Talk about maybe in the same way, Bob and Nancy. What impacted you about them? Of course, you've seen them here on the Minnesota side plenty of times,
Mhm.
but when you were there, or this partnership that you just described that they have,
Mhm.
maybe even their way of serving when they're in country.
Mhm. Yeah, that was really neat to experience. Seeing a married couple who have very different gifts serve a similar purpose, of how they both have come together to partner with Rosemary to take care of these kids, to give them love, hope, and a future. But yet their gifts and their talents are so different. Bob is, he is so detailed, paying attention to all of the things around the facility and what needs to be taken care of to best help these children. And then there's Nancy, who has a more direct, hands-on approach with the children, of being in Sunday school with them and just doing crafts and spending quiet time with them. Was really, really cool to see that partnership of that them as a couple serving, but then also with Rosemary, of how they've built that relationship up. And I can see just the respect that they have for each other, and know that they all have these different talents that when they come together, they so beautifully serve the Kenyan children. And it's a really, really beautiful thing to witness. And again, I just got a glimpse of it, but just to see how that all came together is really cool. And then I've just been so inspired by Bob and Nancy's commitment to living life in the way that the Lord has wanted them to live their life, not living it selfishly, but living for others, and living to help bring others to Christ at a time of life when so many people would just be sitting back, relaxing, and enjoying retirement. They have stayed so committed to the children of Kenya, and they continue to go back and serve, and they're not selfish with their time and their blessings that the Lord has given them. They just continue to push those forward.
We love Nancy's quote of "I'm going to die with my boots on," right? She says sometime.
Hmm.
I've always loved that one.
That's a good one.
Um, can you think of a particular game or time, or like even just encounter or play with a child that stands out to you, or maybe a smaller group of children? And just
Mhm.
tell me a little bit about that story. And if you've got the names, that's great. But if you can't remember, that's fine too.
Yeah. So a couple things come to mind. One, being back at the Brydges Centre was so refreshing, because the way they play was kind of like how I played as a kid. We didn't have all the technology yet than computers that kids do now. And so we were just playing games in the yard, with like playing hand games, playing tag, and just like running around and really enjoying each other without something in between us. It was just us and the kids. And that was really touching to me, because we were just so focused on having fun together. And it was just about enjoying each other, and getting comfortable with each other. Especially those first few days at the center, it was great just to have that time of play and where kids can just be kids. Um, but then I one story that just I think back on is, they don't have a lot of playground equipment there, but they do have one slide in this open field. It's just this single slide, metal slide, that it looks like layers of paint have been worn off from so much use. But I think I stood at that slide for almost 2 hours with a line of probably 3 to 7 year olds just constantly going down the slide and like giving high fives and doing just goofy things together. And it brought me so much joy in my heart to just have that pure time of play together, and of just, I'd gotten glimpses of some of these kids' stories at this point, but just to see their joy, and what it was is to see the joy of the Lord in these kids was such an impactful experience to me. Um, and it helped me just to build some relationships with those kids. And I love preschool age kids. I tend to gravitate towards those little ones, and I just love pouring into them. Just they're just such a fun at such a fun age at that time. And so I just really enjoyed spending that time of just, it was just pure play and enjoying each other. Um and I also got to spend time with three little girls, Esther, Evelyn, and Palazzo, I believe her name was. And those three little girls were like the three musketeers. They were inseparable. They're all about the same age, and they spent so much time together. Two of them were sisters. And they just had such an impact on me. Three of them were on the slide with me that day, just playing. And just to see again the joy of the Lord like coming through those little girls was so impactful, and something I carry with me. And I have their pictures up in my house. And it really, when I see their picture, it just brings me back to some of the simpler things that are what life's really about. And it's just really, it's about connecting with one another, connecting over the Lord, and serving one another.
Yeah, those three little ones are just
Yeah. I
precious
have
as
their
all get
picture right
out.
here.
To see them from 1 year to the next, and they're still all running around in their little group of three. Oh, just the cutest.
Mm-hmm.
Good. So, um, you have given your time and your resources to be involved with the Brydges Centre, and you took time away from work, from Bennett, and it's not easy or inexpensive to go to Kenya. Um, what would you, when you think about donating your time, your love, the things that you've brought and are still bringing, um, what's the value of that investment that you've made for you?
So that going to Kenya was one of the most life-changing experiences I've had. So on that level of donating my time and my heart and resources to those children were 150% worth it. I went there, like I had said earlier, with an open heart and an open mind, to what the Lord wanted to do through me on that trip. I didn't have anything I was bringing to teach them or to do with them specifically. I just wanted to show up, to be there and say, here I am. Like, I want to serve you by serving these kids. And I am so glad I did that. I did have moments of feeling insecure about, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have like um activities planned. I don't have things I'm here to teach. And so at times I was like, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these kids. Like, I don't know what value I bring to this group. But then once I was there, it was very evident that the Lord was like, all I wanted you here for was just for you to be here. And, um, and so it was, and through that experience of just walking in like, with my heart open without any plans or ideas of what was going to happen, I um, learned truly what it means to be reliant on the Lord and just truly trusting in Him. I didn't have my husband on that trip as a source of comfort. I mean, I didn't have my own home, any of my belongings, aside what I could fit in my suitcase. And so it was an experience of really just relying on the Lord and what He was going to provide on that trip was going to be enough. And it again, he came through. It was such an amazing experience to be just truly trusting in the Lord. And then I went there with the intent of serving them, but sometimes I feel like they impacted me more than I impacted them. Um, I walked away from that experience really seeing the gospel in action in front of me. I don't think I'd ever seen it quite so physically, like in front of me, of seeing the work of God just happen. And it changed my life and it changed my heart. It changed my perspective on a lot of things. When I came home, it took a long time to process the trip and I'm still processing it now. I mean, I don't know if it's ever going to be something that I am done learning from. But it changed me, and the Lord changed me through that trip and changed me for the better into who I'm supposed to be. And that's why I continue to want to give my time, my talents, and treasures, because I felt blessed by that trip, by those children, and I just want to continue giving and serving them.
What would you tell a potential donor if you just had a minute of their time, just like we're sitting right here?
Um, I would tell them that it's hard to pack it in a minute. But I would say that the Brydges Centre is really doing the Lord's work. They are sharing the gospel with children, with people that need to know Jesus. And they're not only sharing the gospel, they're also saving people's lives. And that was something that was also really impactful for me. Um, was these aren't just kids in pictures. These are real life children um that they need love and they need hope and they deserve a future. And the Brydges Center is doing that not only in a physical way, but in a spiritual and eternal way. They're sharing the gospel with these children that deserve so much better than what life has dealt them. And giving of your time, your talents, or your treasures is more than worth it, because those children are more than worth it.
One more question,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe two, but one more for sure. It's this is a 30-year um, ministry as of 2025. What would you love to see 30 years from today? If you could dream about the Brydges Center of the future.
One, I would love to see the Brydges Center thriving. I would love to see it growing with being able to support more children and bring more children in. I would love to see also a staff that has been supported, and because that's the other thing, the Brydges Center isn't just supporting children, they're also supporting families and adults in Kenya, through the staff and other people that are there, that are volunteering there. And so I would love to just see and hopefully be able to experience how the Brydges Center is also blessing others from the Kenyan community. Because they're not just touching the lives of the children, they're touching the lives of the community. Um, and so I loved, yeah, just to see the center thriving and growing, and I love to see it filled with more beautiful flowers and gardens than what it has now. Um, and I'd also love to be able to see the children that are in the center now, 30 years down the road, just thriving in life, having been given opportunities that they wouldn't have if the center wasn't there.
Super. Let me have you, we can wrap up on this. Let me have you say your name one more time, but then
Mhm.
also say what you did about being married to Bennett, and then just your job title too, because it'd be kind of cool to have that in
Yeah.
video too. So, name, marital status, and your profession.
hmm My name is Erika Smead. I have been married to my husband for 8 years now. We've attended Rock Point for about 2.5 years, and I am the accounting, HR, and membership coordinator at White Bear Yacht Club.
Boom. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope this is okay.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, it's just kind of fun to hear you tell the story too, because of course we were together. We were having a similar experience, but just seeing the Brydges Centre through newer eyes, is just it's a blessing. And also the fact that you want to talk about it and you want to get engaged, and that you're getting into our ragtag little volunteer team here is just such a blessing. So, so appreciated.
Yeah, the Brydges Centre is awesome. It's hard to sum up in 20 minutes the experience there. I think I could talk about it for days. And there's just so many layers of what the Lord did there on our trip that it takes time to unpack it all. And um, but it was amazing. I just love the Brydges Centre. I'm happy to be helping and serving.
Wonderful. All right. Thanks for your
Okay.
later. I had a past work partner of mine who's just retiring. He was in town for Thanksgiving, and we were having a marvelous burger at Patriots Tavern over by our house, and was kind of watching the clock over his shoulder. I was like, I don't think I can be there exactly at 8. So I appreciate your flexibility.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't end up doing it yesterday. I ended up having a busy day and I was like, my mind is not
Yeah.
fresh at the end of the day like that after our weekend. I was like, I think tomorrow would be better.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thanks for moving it.
Yeah, no problem. And I was saying this, I was talking with Karis yesterday, Karis Fruits, and I'm going to be talking to Larson's tomorrow, Wes tomorrow. Um, Gretchen and I will do one probably tomorrow as well. This is just great video to have on hand. It's not just, single use for this year-end campaign too. So the extra
hmm
stories and things that you brought are great. And even if we've got blurbs, or however Brian, who does
Yeah.
all the magic, Brian, who's listening to this
hmm
video, puts it together, and even if it's more of a montage of everybody or individually, we've got all this to be able to use in other ways too.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to remember that it is the Christmas season as well, because over your right shoulder is a lovely
Yes.
tree.
Maybe that's good and bad. I don't know.
I think it's good. It's very Minnesota, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Have a good night.
Awesome.
I'll also be getting you the that Monkey Pod login information, and I'm going to keep plugging away, but then we can take some more steps in
Yeah.
putting puzzle pieces together.
That sounds good.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah. Bye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. Bye bye.
Bye.